Okay, for today's session in this course, which titled Big Data Analysis. So today we will discuss a lot with one of the component that we produce based on the tools that we already discussed last week. Yeah. So what we want to discuss today is about data sets. Yeah. So today we will learn about what is the data set, and then what the characteristic of data set and what the standard of data set that can be used for big data analysis processing. So why data set is very important. So when we discuss about a lot of tools that in the big data environment that we try to learn last week, actually the goals of the tools is produce the data that can be stored in our databases, and then we analyze in several processes or algorithms that we run in the big data analysis processes. So the dataset will be very important part, but unfortunately, there is a very little persons that or a data scientist that very aware about the quality of data sets. So let's say if you work with your thesis, for example, sometimes student doesn't really, very carefully have a lot of attention on the data sets. So maybe you only go to the one of the site like Kaggle or something, and then you collect the data set, you download the data set, and then you run the data set directly into your algorithms. But you need to realize that data set is also need to have some specifications, standard, and also characteristic that make the data set is appropriate for our big data processes. Yeah. So it is like food that if we have want to eat in one place, so it means we need to take a look upon the quality of the food itself. We cannot just enter in the restaurant and then order the food and then we just eat and then etc. But we need to very carefully to take a look about inside the data. So this is the most important. For me itself, it's very important to ask for to have this point of view on the data sets. Yeah. So that's why today I would like to give you some explanation about the data sets and what is the type of data set, and then why we need to learn a lot about it. So the purpose of this discussion is to ensure that if you before you enter in the big data analytic processes, which is you run some of the machine learning or deep learning algorithms, you can see the characteristic of data set, and then the characteristic of data set will be determined or define which algorithm that appropriate to run on your machine learning or deep learning algorithms. So that's very important. So actually, when we want to run some algorithm, it's not only just based on we want use because we interact with that algorithm, that the algorithm is promising or something, the accuracy is high or not. But the most important thing is actually the match and fit with the data set. So that will be important, because in several cases, when, for example, when I have a project with some colleagues, like Pak Bambang and Pak Guntur, Unita, and so on, when we run a data set from the easy scoring national examination, that the form of data is like the collection of easy scoring, easy answer, that would, even easy is not unstructured, it is unstructured data, and then we need to implement that can have some high accuracy. So that will be have. So when accuracy is good enough, the model will be help us to predict what the type of the answer, the easy answer, this is right or wrong, or some categorical that we have set in the first place. So what we learn is actually when we only just collect the data, and then when the data have some pre-processing activities, but unfortunately the pre-processing activities just randomize the process, and then in one place we have an unbalanced data set, which is For example, 80% the answer is wrong, the models, yeah, and then in 20% is right. So what happened next? Even we use the high accuracy algorithm based on the previous research on the paper or journal, the accuracy is just around on it, yeah. That doesn't work for enhancement or something. So when we analyze more deep, the problem is actually not in the algorithm, but most in the data set. When the data set is imbalance for example, in the base of the data training process, yeah, it will be impact on the whole of the process. So that would be the most important things. The second is, can you imagine that intelligence, some project using a deep learning, right? Let's say for image some things, yeah, using like convolutional neural network or the convolutional neural network, for example. What happens if the data set of the image it doesn't have a good quality? So that would be very the good quality is not always about the resolution of the image, yeah. But the most important thing is about the attribute, the characteristics that data set have, yeah. So that would be your challenge, yeah. Even in one side, when we work in the poor data set is also one of the challenge to be your thesis or to be research on it, yeah. So that's why today I will give you some explanation about data set, and then why we need data set as our major concern, yeah, to see to have the good quality of the big data analytic processes. So in ELAC, I also have prepared the materials, so you can access in that, but I will share with you. So wait a minute. So in here we have several material that hopefully can help you understanding the data set. Yeah. So I will use the data set guideline first. Yeah. Okay. So okay, when we discuss about a data set, that our imagination is collection of data that we collect from the big data sources here, which is data from image, yeah, or a collection of image from CCTV, for example, or video surveillance tools. Yeah. And then we also can capture from gather data from the social media tools like the Twitter, so Instagram, Facebook, or maybe YouTube and etc. You collect the data using several tools that you already present last week, yeah. So and also sometimes we just trust the process how to collect the data, and then we just download into from the open data platform like Kido or other platform. And also that's our imagination about dataset. But yeah, because of the we have very wide variety of dataset, so we need to understand what type of dataset that actually appropriate for use in our processes. Yeah. So what is the reason actually dataset is very important? Yeah. So actually is when we see the dataset, actually, and the good dataset is this one. Yeah, increasingly encouraged. Yeah. So it's mean like when researchers or data scientists have access to see what is dataset that ready. So we will trigger to have some idea on it. So you will have a sense of data. Yeah. So it's not only just the row of data, a lot of row of data, but also when we see in the data, even we doesn't do some analytics processes, that we already get the sense of data. So it's just like we have a feeling. So I think the data is very interesting. The data is very abnormal, for example. There is an anomalies on the data and so on. So based on that sense, actually that will be the entry point for data scientists and researchers to working on, and then try to observe and discover what the potentially the potential approach, which is algorithm that can be work done in that data sets. Yeah. So that's the first reason why we need a good quality of data set. And the second is about the mandates. Yeah. So like you say, in Indonesia, we also have the portal that we call a data.gu.id. Yeah. This is like a mandate, yeah, because we want to be one of the country in the world that entry the smart nations level. So one of the component that mandatory should be established is open data platform. So the government need to open all the data that they have, and then encourage and then triggers scientists or maybe another parties in our in our countries to have to have the to have the contribution on the data analytics based on that data. So that's called mandate here. So let's say like in university, for example, unfortunately in our university not exist yet. Yeah. For example, if you done your thesis work and then the university give you some rules before you graduate it, you not only just submit your PDF version of your thesis, but also your data, the data set that you use for your thesis work. Yeah. So the future library or modern library is not only just show the collection of books, yeah, so like collection of the thesis, but also collection of data sets. Yeah, so that will be in the modern university. It's also happened with where I have a experience. Yeah, when I go abroad. Yeah, so I go to the library, when I see the library, of course, it says a lot of books, a lot of PDF, a lot of some things, but also a lot of data set. Yeah, so that would be so we are very comfort when we go to the library, and then we just observe, explore what the we already have the we want to solve in our research. Yeah. And then the most important thing is to make your research data available. So actually when we do the research, it's not only just like research is of course the data scientist works, yeah, activities. It's not only just about we want to graduate with the with in our program, yeah. But the most important thing is we want to make sure that our research is data is available, yeah. So and accessible, of course, and then discoverable and usable. Yeah. So we doesn't want to make a thesis that only work for our graduated, yeah, our graduations, but also it can be continued by another researcher or by another students that can have the opportunity to do some enhancement in your research result. Yeah. So that will be very important, yeah, to for us to have this point of view. Yeah. So the data scientists and researchers is same. I think the profession is same. So we have a same value that we need to make the world is better using the open data, and then the research will be also the open research. So everyone can involve, can contribute, and then do some enhancement in some processes. So the most important thing, the reason is also is about the sharing, yeah, sharing research data. So in this one is in this point we want to say that research data or data set is actually is will be have capabilities to be to shareable, yeah, with to others, yeah. So if we do that one, it will be help a lot of people to do the to do the lot of analytics. You can imagine that what happened if there is no Kegels, yeah. What happened if we doesn't have a Google data set? What happened if we doesn't have data in brief articles, for example? So yeah, it will be different, yeah. So the research and data scientist work is only exclusively only for very specific persons and organization. So yeah, of course, it will be make the science is it will not develop web in good point, and then yeah, will be closed. Yeah, so that will be the most important thing. So the conclusion about this one is the dataset is not only just about data, but also this is like a movement actually, how we do that one. Yeah. Okay. The next is, what is research data or dataset? Yeah. So sometimes when we do yeah, like I said before, when we discuss about dataset, we only just think about the raw data files. Yeah. So this is like a collection of raw data files in one place. Yeah. And already made and then ready to analyze with our algorithms. Yeah. And so on. But what you need to understand is it's not like as easy like that one, as simple as what that one. Yeah. So in here, when the definition often differ per fields, yeah, generally data set or research data refer to the result of observations or experiments that validate your research finding. Yeah. So that would be like not only just about collection of raw data, but also the result of observation and experiments. So it means dataset is the result or the output of the some kind of processes. Yeah. What processes? Yeah, the experiment processes. Yeah. Let's say when you collect data from Twitter, but actually it's like a simple. You're just using the Python features and then some things, and then you collect the data from the Twitters, and then you have the data set. Yes, that's the result of the data set in the simple way. Yeah, because you do some experiments to collect the data directly to the Twitters. Yeah, so it's not only just access the Twitter and then you copy paste, yeah, in the term of copy paste, yeah, go to your store, but also you need to define what the keyword, what the word that you want to find in the Twitters, what the username. So you need a lot of observation in there. Yeah. So that's why it's very important to understand that the research data is not only just a collection of raw data. Yeah. So in this point of view, so dataset would be consist of several materials. Yeah, the first is raw, of course. The process is data file. So actually, the stage of dataset is can be raw. Yeah, this is very raw, and then the process is data file. For example, the raw data that already labeled. Yeah, for data modeling. Yeah. And then also have include like software. Yeah, it's also same. Yeah, like the algorithms or source code that you use for doing the Twitter collection, data collection. Yeah, why it's very important, because it will gives information a lot to another researchers how you produce your raw data. And then the code, of course, and then the models. Yeah, the models is very important. It is like in database, we need to have a models of data that will be database design, so that will be the models. And then the algorithms that you use, yeah, the how you process the data, the protocols that you use, and also the methods. Yeah. So the research data or data set does not include text in manuscript or final published article form. So the paper and journals that already published in some in the internet-based platform like Scopus, IEEE, is not included in the research data. Yeah, it's only the publication of data, the publication of research. Yeah. And data or other materials submitted and published as part of journal articles. Yeah. So currently in the journal articles or in the publications, they have some some material that mandatory to submit. It's not only just the publication itself, but also the journal article need to be published also. And also, sorry, the data as material, supported material of the journal should be also submit to this journals. Yeah. So that the definition. So why we need to share the research data? What the benefit? Yeah, of course you will get credit for the work you have done. Yeah, and then make you have a lot of citation, because a lot of people use your research data. So you like the person that the work is only the data scientist that collecting the data. Yeah, and can boost your number of applications and increase your exposure and may lead to new collaborations. Yeah. So when people interact with your data set, they will contact you and then maybe ask you to join, or we will ask to permission to have access to with your data set and then collaborate together and bring some new insight for your research. Yeah. And then, so what the benefit for the research community? Yeah, it makes us to have a capability to reuse and reinterpret your data. So that's the cool thing actually, because when data set is open, so we will have a capabilities to see data set in with a point of view in many people's. Yeah. So that's why the interpretation of data will be a lot, yeah, a lot of point of view, yeah. For example, in 36 degrees, yeah, point of view of data, and then a duplication of experiments can be avoided. Yeah, so yeah, let's say in the thesis, for example, we can see that in our campus, for example, when you propose some title for your thesis, we can find a lot of duplication actually from previous thesis. So that will be we will not go anywhere. Yeah, we will have some problem on it. And so that's the way duplication of experience can be avoided. Yeah, and then we have new insight. Yeah, and that we can gain, and of course sparking new lines of inquiries. And this is will be very important to empower replication. So that will be this is will be very helpful for community. And actually the nice one is we can learn from another community that, or maybe some another area that use the same data for different perspectives. So we have a new insight on it. Yeah. And if we go to the more larger society, or maybe some maybe more bigger audience, we can create a transparency, boost public faith in research. Yeah. Not only in public research, yeah, but also in the policy making and so on. So that's why in the smart nation we have an open data platform as mandatory component that they need to be established in the nation. Why? Because we want to push the transparency in all government's activities. Yeah. And then this one, what I mentioned before, can play a role in guiding governance policies. Yeah. And then improve access to research for those outside health and academia. So yeah, of course, the research is not only just for in our university, but also for health, in hospital, in medical, and also in other area. And of course, it will be benefit the public purse as funding to repeat work is reduced. Yeah. So that will be also important things. Yeah, but unfortunately, I can say that in Indonesia, in my personal opinion, this benefit or this value, it doesn't exist yet. Yeah, we still far from this, because in campus, for example, we still fight together, yeah, to have in the ranking, for example. We most interest in the ranking zone, but not in collaboration zone. Yeah. So that would be important. In every lecture, in every researcher, we only discuss about my score in Scopus, my score in IEEE. I have this level and so on, like game. But it's not good enough actually. It's different with when I have experience in abroad. Yeah, when I talked in the first time with my professor, he said that he open to collaboration. He doesn't matter if I just a young person that came to him and then discuss about the research. I already know that I am zero in publication in that time, and he say it doesn't matter. He doesn't care you have one or zero publication. But the next one, if you have idea, innovation, we can discuss and then collaborate, and then we focus only to produce together the publication and the research. So that's the cool thing. This one. And I think data scientist is also same. Yeah, let's say in LinkedIn, if you say that most of the data scientists, the people that have a profession in data scientist, they only show off about the certification that they have, what the algorithm that they can handle, and so on. But unfortunately, there is no collaboration. We are individually selfish, yeah. So that's I think it's not good enough, yeah. So that's what I thinking now. How we make researchers and also other data scientists can work together in collaborations, so we can produce more deep insight, more strategic insight for every community that we want to help, for example. So that would be the nice one, actually, yeah. So that's why my idea is, for example, for your thesis, actually one person doesn't need to have one thesis, yeah. But for example, you work in one topics, and then you and with your friend work together to discuss about same topics, but using the different approach, yeah, for example. So you work with one data set, and then you can produce a lot of research on it, yeah. So that will be the meaning of what I want to say, yeah. And then we go to the next, how we can share your data set, yeah. Actually, a lot of method when we want to share the article, the data set, yeah. So the first and the most formal way is of course you publish in the articles, yeah. You publish some note or conference papers or journals, yeah. But we also have a new stream, like you open your research data on Medium or something, yeah. It's also good things, yeah. Even sometimes in academia we not formally recognize it, yeah. But I think it's good also, just wait for the time. I think when we go to the point, I think we will accept that one too, yeah. Because I think the research should be more open and more flexible. It doesn't need to have a lot of bureaucracy. Yeah. So this is like a peer review article complement for research paper. Easy way to receive proper credit and recognition from your work have done. Yeah. And the research element are research output that have came about as a result of following the research cycle. Yeah. This is include like data, method, and also protocol, software, hardware, and others. Yeah. So that would be one of those ones. So it's mean what I want to say about this information is actually when you interest with, for example, if you interest with some topics here that from the research article or research papers, journals, you can contact the authors, and then you discuss with your interests, and then with proper word, yeah, of course, and then you can ask the permission. I have that experience too, yeah. Several students from Vietnam, from Austria, they send email to me about one of my articles in the journal, and then he say he have some interest in it, and then he want to explore more, and then he asked me to share the articles, and then when I share the article, he will always give the acknowledgement, yeah, on that articles. But if we say that the data set is open, yeah, give the data set, and you already have the good data set because it's already researched by previous researchers. So that would be the point, yeah. And you can also like just upload your data to repository like Mendeley data, Kaggle, and Google Dataset, or IEEE data hub or data port, yeah. So that will be easy to do, yeah. So like in many Elsevier journal, it's possible to upload and store your data to Mendeley data during the manuscript submission process, yeah. And you can also upload your data directory to the repository, and then you will receive the DOI, data object identifications, and make it independently citable. It can be linked to any associate article, and then make it easy reader to find and reuse, yeah. And then the most important thing is to make the people know what the context of your data, yeah. So that would be the next one. So that is like the first is how we do that one is, yeah, we can link with the data repository. This one of the problem in our university, yeah. Our university doesn't exist yet the data repository. We already have the domain actually, Pustaka Data UGM.ac.id, but unfortunately is under maintenance and never up. Yeah. And very sad about it. So so actually we can utilize that one and can create as a data repository that we can create bidirectional link between any data repository you have used to store your data and your online article. Yeah, so it's very important. So that will be the link of data repository. And then, but I'm not only just like data repository, but in every data repository that have, we also give some interactive data visualizations. Yeah, so it's mean like make the reader more understand about what the inside of data. So that will be very important too. Yeah, and then we also can sorry, I'm sorry, my internet getting slow, I think. And then we also can cite your research data. Yeah, so you can get credit for your work by citing your research data in your article, adding a data reference to the reference list, and then of course this is ensured to you are recognized for the data you share and or use in your research, of course. And so that will be very important, yeah, for you to have this one. So that's the explanation about dataset, and let's take a look about the structure of dataset. The dataset actually, when we discuss about the the simple way to see the dataset is a data article should simply describe data without providing conclusion or interpretative insight. It means we let the data pure as data. Yeah, we not add our comment, we doesn't not our conclusion about our research when we use the data. So okay, of course we already have our own conclusion, but we let the people that use the data to have their own experiments, and then they have their own conclusion, and then in that point they can benchmark or analyze with our conclusion, so we will have a new insight on it. Yeah, so that will be the definition. Yeah, and what is the content of the data set? The first is we need the abstract. Yeah, so this abstract is should be describe the data collection processes. So this is like a summary. Yeah, this is like a data collection processes, and the analysis performed, and the data itself, and the reuse potential. So we focus on it, yeah, actually. And of course, based on the definition, it should not provide conclusion or interpretative insight. So so this is like very important to see that to have these processes. Yeah, and of course your focus is only describing your data only. Yeah, so that will be important. Yeah, and of course the next component is keywords. Yeah, is include 4 and the 8 keywords to facilitate other finding your article online. So you will have more like in the search engine. It's like the component that make your search engine performances optimization is good enough. Yeah, so that would be very important. Yeah, so that's very you need to define based on the keywords. Yeah, and then this is the you know the structures. Yeah, so this is like first is the first component on the first attribute of dataset is subject. Yeah. The subject is a category that your manuscript will be available. Yeah, for example, like health or other things. Yeah, so basically we will define on this one DIB categories. When we see this one, actually this one. So yeah, this is will be we have a category on it. I will discuss later. Yeah, so you can use as you know as category that you list. Oh, sorry, in here setting. Yeah, this one. So we have some not what call it convention, yeah, or standard that work globally. You can see in here that we have some measures of knowledge that we need to as classification of the data sets, yeah, from, of course, from agricultural science, that will be consist of agricultural engineering until soil science, yeah, art and humanities, yeah, from the art itself until the philosophy and religions, biological science from aging and until, wow, biology, zoology, and etc. So it will be a lot of categories that we can use for it. So we need to define it, and then as data scientists, we need to have this one. So it will help a lot, yeah, for data scientists to see actually what is the field of the data set, yeah. And then we need to have a specific subject area. Yeah, specific subject area is describe the narrower subject area. Yeah, so that would be like you mention about the title, for example, or like the subject that you working on with your data set. Yeah, and then list of the type of the data. And so you for this subject, you provide what type of data set, maybe tables, image, maybe chart or graph or figures. Yeah, so you can select which one is work for your data set. Yeah, and then the next is how data were acquired. Yeah, so how you acquire your data. Yeah, so this is like you need to state that your data is from microscopic work or for SEM, NMR, or mass spectrometry or survey, interview or something, or you collect from the instrument like Internet of Things or something program, and also, and yeah, if you conducted a survey, you must submit a copy of the survey. So we can see how the survey conducted, so we can analyze what the quality of the survey actually. Yeah. So that would be very important for you to state it one. So this is like the main component of the data set. Yeah. And the next is also we need to complete with the another component. Yeah, so this is like the next component is data format. Yeah, data format is a list of your data format. Yeah, so all raw data must be provided. Yeah, so we need to what is your raw data format, and then what the analyzed data format, and then what is the filter data format. So if you have a lot of what they call it, if you have a lot of type of data format, just you list in this categories. Yeah, and then what is your parameter for data collection? This is like a brief description of which condition were considered for data collection. Yeah, so for example, I do the data collection. The arrange date is from this date until the next date, for example. What time, for example, this will be very important, and what the issue on it, and so on. Yeah, and then description of data collection. This is a brief description how this data were collected. Yeah, so this will be like how the process of data collection. For example, you build your own application using the NumPy, and then you collect the data, and then after that the data collected from the Twitter you manage on your own storage, for example, and then you bring the data set. And the next is you must state your data source location. This is the information available about the data source location. You need to, to place in there. Yeah. So for example, it's in institution or others. Yeah. And if possible, yeah, you also need to for example, if you have a sample data, you also need to mention in this data source locations. Yeah. And of course, yeah, this is very important. If you are describing secondary data, you're required to provide list of the primary data source used in detection. Yeah, so also if you have secondary data and your primary data, all of the data you need to explain to. And then you need to have a data accessibility. Yeah, data accessibility is like how where is the data hosted, and then in the you know in the closed repository or public repository. Yeah, so that would be very interesting. So if we have this portal, I think it's very easy for us to you know to add in the public repository, and then we can say that it's open. Yeah. So in the interest of openly sharing data, so in here we recommended hosting your data in trust repository. Yeah. So so let's say in the Mendeley data or others. Yeah. So this is also, we have also some of the you know some of the collection that you can see. This is like from this one, yeah, School Explorer, Data DOI, yeah, and then and also on the other side, yeah, Mendeley data, and also other repository that we can use. Yeah. So that will be the you know the link of the data. Okay. Then wait. Okay, and then when we have this one, this one, okay, and then after we place that data on the repository, and yeah, we can state the information about the repository, of course. Yeah, what is the repository name, and if you have a data identification numbers, yeah, DOI, yeah, you can provide the numbers, and then your URL is also need to have for the data, so should be in here, yeah. And then if you have any special instruction with your data, you need to explain in here too. So that would be interesting, yeah. And then you need to state also in the related research article, if your data is related to research article, so you need to cite your research article in here, yeah. So for example, this data set is only produced because of other research that we need to reference or cite. Yeah. So if you do that one, we have this one actually, the value of the data. Yeah. So the value of the data is very important because you need to explain what actually the importance of the data that you has provided on your data set. Yeah. And who can benefit from this data, and then explain how this data might be used or reused for further insight or development of experiments. Yeah, so that would be very important point also to have this information. And also you need to add some data descriptions. Yeah, this is individually describe its data. Yeah, so in every figure, table, or data, some supplementary data, you need to include in this article to describe each of data files. So you need to make sure you refer to every data file and provide a clear description for each, and then do not simply list them. Yeah, and then of course no interpretation or conclusion should be included in this point. Yeah. And of course, you need to have also the information about the experimental design, material, and method. Yeah, this is like a complete description of the experimental design and method used to acquire this data. So like a technical specification. Yeah, and if you have any program or code file used for filtering, analyzing this data, is also important to add in this part. And then comprehensive as possible, and also other things. Yeah. And of course the rest is also the ethics. Yeah. So for example, if we work for data like in the health, yeah, using the animal subjects, yeah, so you need to very carefully to state your data set. Yeah, because it's not like easy as common data, but you need to comply with some ethics work on it. Yeah. So yeah, you need to have this one. Yeah. So if you work involve the use of human subject, so you need to include a statement confirming that informed consent was obtained for experimentation with human subjects. Yeah, so you have this one. Yeah, some of the, we call it the informed consents. Yeah, And then if the work involve animal experiments, yeah, you need to have also statement that confirming that all experiment comply with several very specific, animal experiments, yeah. And then if you work involve data collected from social media platform, please include an ethical statement regarding informed consent from the participant, or that the participant data are fully anonymized, yeah, and regarding the compliance to data restitution policy from the platform, yeah. So please be careful about it, because sometimes when we data that we collected is not for sharing, yeah. So don't do brave to publish the data. So what we can see in here for the example of the source of data sets, like in the IEEE data port, this is one of the example how the data set is be open, yeah. Yeah, you can see in here data set for, let's say, systematic literature review on model and so on, yeah. It's also on in this IEEE they have that open data set and also closed data set, yeah. Like, let's say in here like this one, and then when we need to access the data, they provide the Excel file, and then they also some information about the data, and then yeah, of course the data will be open for many other researchers to use for this one, yeah. So this is like a good point. And what the nice one is the data set is mostly is already curated, and then have a good quality of the of the data set form, yeah. We also have the this one, yeah, say data set search from the data search from the Google's, yeah. This is like they collecting a lot of data set that they have a lot of data from several sources, and then we can use as our activities, yeah, for research, for example. And of course, the famous one is Giggles. Yeah, I think it is also same thing. So they not only just provide the data set, yeah, but also the environment to see how it's work, the visualization and so on. So it's also good, very good, yeah, I think for data set, yeah, because it's very important to have all this data set for our research. So that will be cool, yeah. So what happened in our campus, I think you already know, yeah. This one is our campus actually. Unfortunately, hopefully it's already set up, but so yeah, still error for searching and so on. But there is no available information in here, yeah. So this is our current situation, yeah. So that will be the interesting point of the data set, yeah. So if you have any question, please give your question to me. I will stop the recording for this session first, yeah.